Welcome, everyone. I will start off with an introduction to enterprise application testing. This is a typical enterprise application landscape today. You can see a collection of applications, custom applications, some built by your own developers, some you're consuming from providers like Salesforce, Workday, Oracle, SAP, and so on. So a complex conglomeration of applications and integrations across them. And your task, an enterprise goal is to achieve highest automation possible across the board. Even though they look like separate apps, custom apps, SaaS apps, they're not silos. They're fully integrated, and there's a lot of information going back and forth. And more importantly, everything is changing. Your custom application development is done in an agile DevOps, full adoption of those techniques. And some of the enterprises are changing things daily, weekly, for sure. And then the SaaS apps vendors are also doing the same thing. Salesforce, Oracle, they're all pushing changes rapidly. And they're also very big agile shops. So because of this, one common theme across the application landscape is change. Change is happening all the time. Change means test. You have to test and validate the change. Otherwise, you don't know if the change is going to take place and what kind of a negative impact change can have. So this is the world we live in. The goals for custom apps and SaaS apps are slightly different, right? So some of the custom app goals would be, hey, we need to achieve in-sprint automation. I'm specifically now talking about testing and validation for these enterprise apps. So the goals of custom apps, people who are responsible for custom apps is slightly different than SaaS apps. And here are some of those goals. Like custom app goals are, hey, we want to achieve the highest automation possible, and we want to stay in line. And for example, one simple example is in-sprint automation and low test debt. On the other hand, on the SaaS app side, least business disruption. Imagine you have a series of applications supporting your quote to cash process, like Salesforce, Workday, and so on, like many of our customers do. And if any of those processes and applications break in the link, in the value chain, we have a problem, right? So that is their goal. But ultimately, all of them are predicated on having a good testing and test automation capability. You want one platform, one product to automate all of these apps. And that's what AutonomIQ is. In 2017, when we started the company, our primary goal was to address this question: why is testing a bottleneck? Right? When you look at this is the life cycle of a test automation life cycle. You can see every aspect of this has a manual effort involved. Test case creation, test script, writing a test script requires a test automation specialist. Test data has to be factored in. Somebody has to think of cross-browser, cross-OS, and create those environments. Somebody has to gather the test reports. So there is a human effort involved in all of this. And that is one of the reasons why testing is a bottleneck. What we did in 2017, built the company to disrupt this entire manual effort and turn that into a fully autonomous process, starting with intent. And I'm going to demonstrate that throughout the day today. I'm going to demonstrate that. Even better, I have CIOs and CTOs tell you how AutonomIQ has impacted them and their processes. And you will hear from them very soon. Of course, there are plenty of automation approaches, and which I'm sure you're using one of them. There are plenty of open source options, commercial options, but all of them have one fatal flaw, which is they assume there is a specialist tester who is doing the work. The world has changed. What I mean by that is the definition of who is the tester is at question. Because if you think about it, in many development organizations, what do they say? They say developers are the testers. And in many business application usage in that context, subject matter experts are the testers. So we have a world where the testing function is being done by people who are not traditional testers. What are the tools for them? That is a huge question and a challenge. So in the traditional approach, even if you had a specialist tester available, that would take you 5 to 8 hours to create a script, or maybe 3 to 4 hours, depending on the complexity of the script. So this is just to create it. And then it would take you a ton of effort to maintain it, right? Anytime the application changed, you have to deal with the change. And that is an expensive effort. When we started the company, our goal was to shift this entire problem and remove testing as a bottleneck. What we did, we started with the intent. We can read a test intent like a human being and understand the intent. And from there, automatically navigate the application, generate the scripts, execute the scripts on a cross-browser, cross-OS, whatever combinations you want. And then when the change comes, maintain the script for the life of the script. By doing this, we have transformed testing in multiple ways. One is anybody who can express intent is able to test and create test automation. So we call them citizen testers. We have created an opportunity where professional testers with citizen testers can collaborate. And that's what the enterprises need to test both custom apps and SaaS apps. And maintenance is free because we have something called auto healing, which understands changes. And based on the changes, it will automatically adjust. Doing these things, we have transformed testing from a traditional bottleneck situation into more of an agile process that matches your development efforts.